Victoria is a club where people travel to. I know that anecdotally and statistically. When we add events and we have live music, we have saxophonists, fire breathers, all that sort of stuff. I mean, it creates conversations, and I think our marketing going forward is going to be more about sort of marketing by referral from creating conversations with our customers. So we sort of rejected the desire to put on glossy billboards now at huge expense. We're saying no, we want to double down in events and sort of marketing led by referrals.
Would you say that there is an evolution to this event style? So you've got your regular, I'm going to go 2 or 3 times a week, but there's also an opportunity that if I'm interested in something once a month, I'm going to travel for 45 minutes and I'm going to go and be part of something that is a little bit different to regular.
Yeah, I mean, so anyone who's in this industry, they obviously want to create success, and hopefully maybe wealth is a byproduct of that. But I'm sure the vast majority are in it because they actually believe in it. Not only can your life be expanded, but your healthy life, if you like, the way you live, can be vastly improved. But we also know that exercise is difficult, especially when the weather's like this and you've got the opportunity to turn the heating up, have a glass of red wine and watch your favorite show on TV. Being motivated to get outside and run or even go to a gym, having that motivation can be a challenge. So I think you've got to give reasons for people to do something that they don't always want to do. Nobody's ever regretted a workout, but that moment prior to the workout is often riddled with anxiety or procrastination, or can I find an excuse not to do it? And that's, I think, normal. We shouldn't punish ourselves for it. But if I can put on an event where we're going to have a rapper in the class, or live music, or dancers, or fire breathers, whatever it is, however ridiculous it may be, if it's a reason to go, but also a reason to invite a friend, because we know that will be a much more enjoyable experience, then yeah, we should give them the reasons, because if we believe the goal is to get people active, we need to bridge that gap between, oh, I'm not sure if I want to go to a class, to let's call a friend and book in that class.
How do you position it from a fitness perspective? I was looking on when I came up this morning at some of your social media stuff, and even I remember in the early days you were the first people I remember to be giving champagne, and that was almost like this big pull. Like, are you selling fitness, or are you selling this lifestyle which is about having fun, staying healthy?
Yeah, I think when we first met, Giles and I drank too much, and we were thinking that everyone else wanted to do the same as well. And to some extent, in those days, that was still sort of the culture. One thing I've seen massively is, and I see it with my own team and also now my friends, is there is a big shift away from sort of the boozing culture that I remember in banking and that sort of thing. It's very sad
now
times.
You're showing your age now.
Yeah. And doing a class and having a juice or protein shake afterwards is now more interesting social way of meeting up than necessarily just going to the local pub on a Tuesday night and sharing stories. And that's not a bad thing. I think our customers are becoming so much more informed on diet, nutrition, sleep, supplements. Everybody's plugged into these wonderful podcasts now where they get all this information. There's no excuse these days to not know something. It's about your lack of curiosity, I guess, if you're not willing to learn. But now everybody has that information on the end of their fingertips. So I think we've got, our marketing's gone from a shift of sort of detox, and work out hard, play hard, to a bit more, okay, actually, there's so much knowledge here. Let's learn how to sleep better. I mean, I was from sort of the generation of sleep is for wimps, if you like, and now I'm doing everything possible to try and get a good night's sleep. The setup I've got is just ridiculous, but I'm much better for it. I turned 40 this year, and I mean, you're a lot older than me, so you'll know this.
Oh, thanks.
But things change. The way we react to a night out or a lack of sleep. I mean, I find if I haven't had a good night's sleep, I lose 30% more of my sort of cognitive. You see, I've obviously didn't sleep well last night. You know what I'm trying to say. So our customers want this information. I think we need to take part in that now and be a little bit maybe less flippant with the negative effects of not trying to live more healthily.
How are you connecting with your audience? Because I've noticed it, not quite as much as you, because we are very similar in age almost, but there's definitely a difference between a lot of the age of the people that are coming in here and both of us.
Yeah.
And as you gave a great example of where you sort of, you think about your business in terms of things that resonate with us, but they're a totally different generation.
Yeah.
How are you staying relevant and ensuring that there's that connection between the way you're thinking as a business leader and the people that you want to bring into your locations?
Yeah, I mean, I remember reading this book by Jimmy Carr recently. It's called Before and Laughter, and it's almost like a self-help book, and which is, you might think is bizarre from a comedian like Jimmy Carr, but it's actually very, very good. And he was talking about how if you're at a Christmas dinner and you've got your granddad, giving his views on the world, and maybe your 16-year-old little brother giving his views on the world, if you're not sure where to side, you're probably better off siding with the 16-year-old because that's a more progressive, outlook going forward. So I think, we should always take inspiration from sort of the younger people coming through. They're not always right, so get their enthusiasm and their view on progression with a bit more wisdom and experience, and you meet in a nice place. But I think we want to try to stay relevant, but not always be led. We want to sort of lead at the same time, and you're going to make mistakes, but hopefully if you do that in an honest and authentic way, it's forgivable. So we just try our best, really.
Certainly through the pandemic, it's been very easy to actually get things wrong. I know from sort of before those times, you were leading with a very progressive, inclusive messaging from your marketing, but I've seen many people that have just slightly sided or supported an idea, and it's been disastrous for the business.
Yeah.
How do you get that right so that you're certainly playing and supporting some of these ideas, but being careful not to do something that could jeopardize a multi-million-pound business?
Oh God, that is a really tough one. We try, we have lots of debates internally. Like, I don't believe in sort of pandering or patronizing a cause just for the sake of saying, we stand by something. We've had long conversations about what we stand for, and I sort of said, look, if it's just an Instagram post, you're not really standing for something. How are we going to include that in what we're doing as a brand, what charities we work for, what we're doing internally for our culture. So try to be, as sort of balanced as possible on that. I think one conversation we've had recently is I think actually we're going to do less of it in a way, not because there are things we don't believe in, but just I'm feeling as a customer of many businesses that we're talking too much about things, and a lot of people come to fitness or classes, especially for escape. We have so much access to information that is often driven by a model where the more negative the information, the more likely we are to click through in it. That, quite frankly, I feel like the world is like a busy WhatsApp group that you just want to exit at times, and so I'm saying to our team now, look, we're not departing from our values, but at the same time, I don't think our values need to be shoved down people's throats at every opportunity. We are a gym. We want to get people fit and live longer and better lives, and that should take up 90% of our messaging. And where there's a point where we feel we need to remind people where we stand on something, we should, but there are also things that I feel we should avoid.